اولین سخنران ما پروفسور شاپور انصاری هستند، در رابطه با زبان مادری صحبت میکنن. ایشون جراح قلب هستند و از آمریکا، از نیویورک تشریف آوردن بر برنامه ما. من از ایشون خواهش میکنم که سخنرانی خودشون رو شروع بفرمایید. آقای دکتر پروفسور خواهش میکنم بفرمایید.
خیلی ممنون.
انگلیسی آره.
Good morning, everybody. As she said, my name is Dr. Shapour Ansari. I am honored to be in this room. Some of you may wonder why I'm here. I am not a politician or diplomat. I have never been. I am 78 years old, cardiac surgeon retired. All my kids, all my grandkids are born in America. I have been living there over 52 years. The reason I mention that means that I have no personal reason to be here except that I have passion for human rights. I believe in universality of the human right. I believe all mankind are created equal. I love my adopted country, America. I love Iran, and I love my homeland, Azerbaijan. As a physician, I have been always involved in promoting the good health care for all mankind. In that aspect, I went to Iran by the invitation of the Iranian government in 1990 and started coronary surgery bypass graft. If some of you don't know what it is, that's a preventing the heart attack. Until I walked there was no single successful coronary surgery done in Iran. I spent 2 years in Iran training mostly Persian-speaking doctors, cardiologists, anesthesiologists, nurses, and in the Tehran's heart center, Rajai Cardiac Center. When I arrived there was no single successful coronary surgery done in Iran, entire Iran. When I finished 2 years of my work, without any compensation, not one penny I received the compensation from the Iranian government, I was able to have a facility which was self-sufficient in coronary surgery. And today I'm proud that the coronary surgery, because of my training, have been successfully done, thousands of them around the country, even in provincial cities. But I have also a sad story to tell you. For 35 years, I tried to build a heart center for in my own hometown in Azerbaijan with my own fund, not government money. Unfortunately, Iranian government, with numerous roadblocks, they blocked me doing so. And they try to direct me to a Persian-speaking area, of course, politely. And this is the reason I am here today. As a physician, I have a diagnosis for the Iranian society. I think Iran society suffers from a serious disease, serious social disease. That disease is a cultural apartheid, which is being intentionally inflicted on almost 35 million Turks of Iran by their own government. This apartheid is not based on the color of the skin, but ethnicity and language. This, of course, started a long time ago. In 1930s, Reza Shah Pahlavi, with the trend in some European country, started to build a superior race called Persian and superior language, Persian language. By doing this, infected Iran with a very serious malignant disease, which is apartheid, cultural apartheid. Ironically, Islamic Republic, after coming to power, they have enforced this much more seriously, and today's situation much worse than before. like any other disease, there are causes I explained to you, but also there are symptoms. What are the symptoms of this cultural apartheid? Millions of Azerbaijanis kill children at the beginning of the school year, this year and every year after that. They will be entering school and are forced assimilation by the Iranian government. They will not be allowed to be educated in their own mother tongue. Even cartoons in the kindergarten are crime. They confiscate the cartoon in Turkish language and you get prosecuted for it. And these kids, they fall behind their Persian counterparts, as it takes several years for them to master the language which is a foreign for them and to their family and to the city. Remember that according to Iranian government official statement, Mr. Saleh, former foreign minister, 40% of Iranian population speaks Turkish. And the Iranian education minister at the beginning of the school year 2 years ago said that 70% of the Iranian students, when they enter the school, they speak a different language at home than the Persian. It means only 30% of Iranian people at home, they speak Persian. So where is the other 70%? I wish this was the only scar and handicap that these children will carry. No, unfortunately, these children will be carrying a very irreparable psychological scar rest of their life, which is inflicted on them by their own government policy of dehumanization and the degradation of the Turks in all spheres. Publicly, Azeris Turks are portrayed as ignorant, backward in movies, newspapers, television shows, sports broadcasts, and the cartoons. The most well-known of it is the cartoon in the Iranian official newspaper, Iran, which depicted the Azeris as cockroaches who they feed on feces, human feces, and they should be eliminated altogether. Privately, there are racial slurs, which is donkey or turkakhar, is in widespread use in every day of life in Iran. In addition, millions of insulting jokes about Turks being bandied everywhere, even in the Iranian president's office. The assault on the Turkish language is multi-pronged one. Iran bans teaching of the Turkish language in any classroom. Moreover, Turks are frequently imprisoned just for simply asking to implement their own constitution. Ali Reza Farshid, that I didn't have in my writing here, today is on hunger strike because he asked for permission to have a meeting about the Mother Tongue's Day on February 21st. He is still in prison. And many of the people who they asked the government to implement their own constitution, Article 15, they are put in jail, tortured, and some of them have died with mysterious causes like a meningitis or suicide or the heart attack. There are no Turkish language movies in entire Iran. There are no true Turkish language shows on television, on national television. There is some half-hearted program in the provincial TV, but most of them is Persian. Only the verbs are in Turkish. there are very few performances of the musical act by Turkish musicians. There are hundreds of Azerbaijani Turkish mountains, rivers, villages, cities the name has been stripped from their original Turkish name and been replaced with the foreign Persian name. This unfortunate facts that everybody can find from the Google and so forth. But let me tell you some of my own personal experience. They have lots of it, but at least I give you 2 examples of it. 15 years ago, my niece and her husband had a nice child, girl. They want to name her a beautiful Turkish name, Fidan. When they went to register the name, excuse me, they went to register the name in the government official registration office. She was told that she cannot have a Fidan. Why? Because that's not in the government sanction book name. And she jokingly said, how about if I was Armenian? I said, if you're Armenian, even though Armenia only 50,000 people, less than 50 in Iran, they have separate books for their names, but not the 40% population of Iran has no Turkish names allowed. This is how intrusive is government of Iran in the private life of Azerbaijani Turks. Even naming your own child's name, that privilege is taken away from you. Not only Iran has cultural apartheid infected the private family life of Iran Turks, the worst thing that it has affected the heart and the head of the Turks themselves. Many Turks, they are ashamed to even be recognized in public. They are Turks. There's a recent movie in Iran. The mature woman speaks with his grandfather who came from Azerbaijan, Turkish at home, fluently. When they go to subway, crowded subway, the grandfather tries to speak in Azeri. The daughter, who's a mature woman, she won't answer. She said, do not talk to me in Turkish. She said, I don't want anybody to know I'm Turk. Because she's embarrassed. I once was treating a patient in Tehran Heart Center. Was an old man. When I spoke in Persian, I realized that he does not speak Persian. I started speaking Turkish. There were a lot of army generals in the consultation room, big room. And the woman sitting next to her, she said, doctor, will you please speak that one in Persian because I don't speak Turkish. I spoke in Persian to her too. After surgery, she came when privately we were in the room examining for follow-up. She told me that she started fluently Turkish language. And I said, how did you suddenly become so fluent in Turkish? She said that, doctor, I could not speak in public in front of those journals Turkish because I'm a sportcaster in the Iranian national television. I once... huh? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me finish with that. Not to want to anyone know you are a Turkish, to be ashamed of your culture, your language, your ethnicity. This is the powerful effect Iranian government is able to inflict on their own people. They are trying to deprive them from their culture. Turks in Iran and other ethnic groups, Kurds and the Baloch, Turkmen, everybody, Arabs, they are the same thing. They want to strip them from their identity. They just one language, one ethnicity, and that's it. Sadly, Iran's portrait of the Turks, inferior people, appears to be achieving its goal. But my final word is that what is the best solution to cure the Iranian problem. As I said, I love Iran. I want to know what can be done for it. I think that as long as there is a institutional discrimination, there can be no cure. We have to look at the power structure in Iran. If you look at the power structure, quick glance at the ethnic makeup of the Iranian power structure, you will realize that Iran is composed overwhelmingly of the Persian. Of the Guardian Council, 100% are Persian. Expediency Council, out of 39, 37 are Persian. Head of the Judiciary Committee, head of the Parliament, head of all the armed forces, every single one of them Persian. Therefore, all of them are an elected group. Huh? Okay, I'm sorry that I finished. Thank you.